Yo, what is going on, you guys, and welcome to my new series on the channel, The Amazing Spider-Man Original Fan Series. You guys have been requesting that I do my own original Spider-Man series for a while, and while Spider-Man Last Hunt is technically my original Spider-Man thing, that is not in the form of a fanfiction, but rather written out like a proper movie. This series will be a short mini-series of my own version of Spider-Man from scratch, which will be that in a fanfiction format, which you guys seem to like as it is the most popular video type on the channel. This series will be an 8-part series which will explain my origin for the character and what direction I would take him in if I had my own Spider-Man show, along with who I would cast for certain roles, etc. If you are new to the channel and you enjoy these type of fanfiction videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit the bell next to the subscribe button to not miss the next episodes or any more fanfictions in the future. Without further ado, let's get straight into this. The Amazing Spider-Man Episode 1, Field Day. We start our story in school with Peter Parker, who will be played by Asa Butterfield. Asa Butterfield actually did go originally for the role in Spider-Man Homecoming, however Tom Holland did get the role. I do think that Asa Butterfield would be a really good pick for the role, so I have cast him here. This episode will be quite slow, but will introduce us to the status quo and introduce us to the different characters and their relationships. We immediately establish the hierarchy with Flash Thompson, who will be played by Justin Prentice at the top. Our first scene is Peter in school. He gets pushed around and bullied by Flash Thompson. We are also introduced to Liz Allen, who will be played by Laura Harrier, who already played Liz in Spider-Man Homecoming. However, this version of Liz will be a little different to the Homecoming one. This character will start off very shallow and not have much sense. She won't be smart as she was in Homecoming, nor will she really see how the actions of Flash affect others, but she will grow to learn throughout the series. She starts off by encouraging Flash to bully Peter. Our next scene will be in class, showcasing how smart the students are, along with introducing us to some more characters. This scene will also flesh out Peter's love for science. Some notable characters that will be introduced here will be Dr. Curtis Connors, who will be played by Domhnall Gleeson, and Gwen Stacy, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. However, she will act more as a background character in this season, one that observes rather than takes part. Although I might not mention her much throughout these 8 episodes, it will be hinted at throughout certain types of cinematics and character positioning that she will later play a bigger role to the story that is yet to come. We will also be introduced to Randy Robertson, who will be played by Caleb McLaughlin. Peter gets his test back and it's an A star. Gwen also gets an A star as well. Flash gets a C and Liz gets a D, showcasing how much attention she pays to academics. Dr. Connors will talk about a field trip that they will be going on to Empire State University and how they will do their research project on their facilities once they have visited. We then cut to the next scene, which will introduce Uncle Ben, played by Martin Sheen, and Aunt May, played by Sally Field. I know what you're all thinking, but honestly, I love this duo from the TASM movies. They are incredible and my favourite casting for an Uncle Ben and Aunt May, so therefore I'm going to be using them to act as here. Peter walks through the door with a black eye, and this instantly alerts Aunt May. We get a sense of her character that she is very caring and protective of Peter. She instantly sits him down and pampers him with a towel. Ben is more laid back and chill. He leans against the table and asks Peter about his day at school, while Aunt May will tell him to stop leaning on her table. We start to understand the banter and relationships of the Parker household. It's warm, it's nurturing, and you can tell that them three all care about each other very much. We get a moment with Ben and Peter alone. Ben tells Peter about a time when he got into a fight at school once, relating to Peter on his level. This creates a dynamic between Uncle Ben and Peter that we wouldn't want to see either of them lose. Peter mentions about the field trip, but he's unsure if he wants to go, because he's afraid Flash will make a mockery of him, as he has been doing every single day. Ben tells him to just be himself. He says that Peter is a smart and caring lad, and that'll do him well in the long term of life. Don't let Flash discredit him and bring him down. Peter nods and takes this advice on board. May and Ben also tell Peter to snap some good photos while he's down there, because it's not every day that you get to go to Empire State University and their labs. May says that the entry ticket to the exhibit is pretty expensive, so make the most of it. Peter nods and he says he'll get as many photos to show them as he can. This will also introduce Peter's love for photography, as the idea of him taking photos is introduced here as well. With each scene, we're slowly trying to build up Peter Parker's character. We're trying to see what his interests are and what he's like as a person. Although we all know what Peter Parker is like from the comic books, various shows and the movies, we still have to establish him as a character that we can relate to on his level. We cut to the next day where Peter is on the field trip with his class. This scene will take more time to express the dynamic between Peter and his classmates and all of the relationships. Flash picks on Peter a little more, making fun of him for taking pictures with his camera. Dr. Connors heads the trip and takes them around to see the different exhibits. Dr. Connors talks about how he used to go to ESU as a student, and that's how he got his degrees in in biology and chemistry. Then the class enter the spider section of the building. The same thing will play out similar to the Raimi movies where one of the spiders will be missing. Dr. Connors, however, thinks this is suspicious since the spiders are never taken out for examination when there are visitors or the labs are open for public hours. It is explained that these spiders are genetically enhanced and ESU has been experimenting on them. Obviously, we live in a world where fictional superheroes exist and where all these type of things are reality. And even though this series is going to start out pretty grounded and pretty normal, we are going to slowly start introducing elements for this world that kind of expose it as being more freaky and funky and the real Marvel universe that we all know and love. Then a spider will slowly descend from the ceiling above. The web protrudes from the spider as it lowers himself down, and underneath it stands a 15-year-old Peter Parker. The spider lands on Peter's hand and in quick succession, without Peter realizing, it bites him. Peter makes a noise complaining about the bite but tries to keep quiet due to the inevitable intervention of Flash. Peter starts to feel a little off and runs away from the trip. Dr. Connors tries to call him back and assumes it's because Flash is constantly picking on him. Flash says that he's running off because he can't handle a joke. Liz laughs as well, once again showing how shallow her character is right now. She is genuinely an immature and horrible person when she's around Flash. We cut to a scene where Peter walks home. He holds his head as he feels unwell. He walks through the door and May and Ben see him. They ask him if he's okay and he says he's fine. He's just had a rough day, that's all. He doesn't want too much attention and says that he's going to go upstairs. May says that he hasn't had dinner yet, and Peter says that he isn't hungry and he just wants to sleep. Peter goes upstairs and falls asleep, and as Peter's eyes close, the audience's screen fades out with them, as the episode comes to a close. This first episode was an introduction to the status quo and Peter Parker's life, who he is as a person and his relationships to the other characters. This will be further explored within the next few episodes, but is properly established here. I know this episode was bare bones and pretty much all the classic stuff we've seen already so many times before. However, it was just done to establish all of this stuff that then doesn't need establishing in the later episodes, and I can't wait to give you guys the next episodes, and I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure you don't miss any future uploads, so you can also hit that bell so you don't miss any more videos. They will go straight to your notification box as soon as they are released. Thanks for watching. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.